So, John, I think that great comedians are great social observers. Obviously, they're funny, but I think they're geniuses in how they can observe something we all see, but then they say it in a way, and that's what makes us laugh. And I think that you're one of the hottest comedians on the planet right now. Congrats on the Tonight Show.
Thank you, brother. Oh,
So
not attractiveness.
No, that'd be a little weird.
Okay,
yeah.
Weird way to start.
You are a handsome man. I have
you,
no
sir.
problem acknowledging that at all. Early on, what did draw you to comedy?
I don't feel like we had a choice. We were compelled to, even in during COVID, me and a lot of guys here in town, Nate, and we've spoken candidly about. Dude, and nobody could do it. Everything, all the clubs were closed, all the theaters were closed. And we were just like, they were like, hey, Nate was doing like drive-ins, and then I was doing like shows in like parking lots. Nobody was getting any money. Nobody was getting paid. Nobody was getting any kind of social. There was no benefit except for we were observing all these things about culture, and this is such a strange time. And we were like, we would like to contribute to this. Yeah. Nobody, like, I think everybody, or like, we want to be, I don't know Taylor Swift personally, but like, I imagine she liked to play the guitar.
Yeah.
And like to write songs on her. All this other stuff is a byproduct of her being good at the thing. She would never, that's like, right. Kids now want to be famous.
Right.
Like, well, that's not a goal.
That's right.
It's not a, because that is insatiable, by the way. You're never going to get to, like,
that's right.
Even if we have innumerable obstacles in our business every day.
Yeah.
I mean, every day there's something, like we just lost our podcast Instagram account, 180,000, it's just gone. We just wake up and they're like, it doesn't exist anymore.
Sorry, we don't know what happened.
Yeah, and we can't get in touch with anybody, and you're like, well, we didn't.
Oh my God.
Horrific.
Yeah.
Or the boss is like, hey, your bus, it doesn't work, or like, right. We got to get a new, and you're like, but we did. That was always secondary. We weren't trying to use comedy we just were compelled to do it.
Right.
So there's been economic times where it was horrific, and economic times that were great, and the algorithm has worked against you. And then times it works in your favor. Like, well, this was all secondary to what we set out to do.
Right.
So, I mean, I just think back through all the shows I did at the beginning where, like,
what would keep you coming back?
I don't know. I was just...
Was it one laugh? Was it that simple where you go, this one dude really thought that was funny, and that's enough to get me back?
Well, there's a lot of times where there was no laughter for a long time.
Right.
I mean, not that. I mean, the first time I did it, I was like being funny amongst my buddies or a youth group or whatever. They were like, you should go try it. Okay, so the first time I heard the idea that I should go try it, I was 21. I tried it when I was 25. So there was, and I just started, when somebody said you should try it, and I don't know why I did this. I didn't have a computer at the time. I just started writing down things I thought were funny. For 5 years, because I couldn't get up the nerve to do it.
Wow.
So I just was like, oh, that might be funny. That might be funny. And then I finally went to an open mic, and I went for months just to watch it. I just was sitting in the back and watching.
Yeah.
And I lived with my parents, and they were like, where? I did it. Finally, I did it. And my parents were like, where have you been going? And I would never forget this. I was sitting right at the table. My dad was sitting here. My mom was sitting here. My two brothers were sitting here. I was like, I've been going to the comedy club. And they were like, I mean, you should ask my dad about that. You should ask my dad.
To laugh?
He was like, what? And I was like, I've been doing comedy. And they were like,
funny.
What on earth? I was so...
Which is interesting because I would guess, if I had to guess, I would have guessed that one of them would have said, oh, that makes sense. You've always been hilarious. You're the funniest one in the family. Yeah. None of that. They were dumbfounded.
They didn't even understand why. They didn't even know where a comedy club would be. They never had heard. I've seen comedy, I guess.
Right.
But I was going, dude, I was like, me and Mike Goodwin, comedian buddy of ours, was like, we would go in a Ford Focus all around. We do like Columbus, Georgia. I was getting paid $150. He was getting paid $75. And we were stoked. I mean, I remember sleeping in hotels that you could like rent them by the hour.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
those aren't the good ones.
I didn't even know.
Yeah. But we were like, now it's agents and managers and algorithms and commissions and staff and all these things. But you're like, well, we were.
That's what I love.
I mean, it was horrific.
The journey. See,
but we thought it was awesome, dude. We thought, it was me and my buddy, and we were just driving around, and people were throwing stuff on the stage and drunk and falling asleep, and the bookers like trying to sleep with you, like all kind of wild. And we were like, dude, that was. We were like, well, we got Augusta, Georgia tonight, like at a Hooters, like in the corner, and people didn't even. Non-consensual comedy is horrific.
I can only imagine.
Does that make sense?
Yes, meaning nobody wants to hear from you. They don't know you're there. They want the wings and the sights, if I could say it that way.
They were like, it's open mic night. Yeah. They're watching like this.
Right.
And it's
non-consensual.
Horrible, dude.
That's great.
I mean, the first 10 years of comedy is that.
But
so you couldn't have lasted through that.
No, unless you love the craft. You loved everything about it. Even though it was brutally hard.
And there's an open mic night like now at Zany's after the showcase every Wednesday. There's open mic and there's like 80 kids out there on the and they sign up. And
I love that though.
If you get selected, there's 20 of them that'll be on the show to do 3 minets.
Wow.
For the first time. You don't have to have any experience.
What a great experience though, to learn how to communicate.
Yeah, I go, all those kids out there, I go, if I what I knew now, and I've been comparatively wildly successful,
sure.
I don't know if I could go back and start it over.
Right.
It took so
fascinating
much.
Yeah, it's tough.
And we were with, you ever heard of Louis Anderson?
Oh, yeah.
Comedian. He's
died a couple years ago.
Yep, one of the most prolific joke writers of all time.
Yeah.
They've been on The Tonight Show 50 times. HBO specials, sitcoms, talk shows, everything. We were sitting with him probably 10 years ago. We were bummed out because we were the open micers at the time. We were like, dude, we're frustrated. If we're frustrated with we can't get the stage time, the booker doesn't like us, I would always be making up these like, oh, I think they're like, I was gonna laugh when I say that. Oh, I'm like being persecuted because I'm Christian. They're like, no, your jokes are bad. They say, right. It had nothing to do with persecution. They were like, oh, dude, it's the Lord's calling, and they were like, no, dude, just be better at it. Just be better at the job. And we're all these, flights are too expensive. We can't drive. And Louis Anderson, I will never forget this. We're in the lobby of the Aria, which is the hotel right by where he lived there. He lived at the top of it, and he goes. All the decoration he had in his career, and he goes, it was me and my buddy Vinny complaining, just going on and on. He was sitting there quiet for a while, and then he goes, I'm going to be honest with y'all. He goes, I would kill to be in your spot. Because he'd done it all. He had accomplished every award show.
Yeah.
He'd hosted it. He's been on all the TV shows. He's been on The Tonight Show 50 times. He goes, I would kill to be back in your spot.
Wow.
Trying to still have goals, aspirations, and things to achieve, and trying to figure out.
Because it's like the joy of it. Is he saying that it's just the joy of the craft?
Doing it.
Just doing it.
And all the, and I've been.
That's so good.
He's like, man, I would kill to be in y'all's spot where you're figuring out, the joy of just figuring out how to do it.
Love that.
And how to get there. Because you're like, I don't think. I mean, I've achieved. I still got a lot of things to go, obviously. But you go, this is the whole.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
We were down with Johnny W at the comedy club for half full, 25 people, trying out these new jokes, and all of us are like, this is what we were put on this earth to do.
How does a guy like you? How do you do friendships and keep a close-knit group? What does that look like for you? Because obviously you're very, very public. You're continuing to get more and more momentum. So now you're walking any place in public, and your whole life, the very work you do is very public. What does community look like for you?
We were talking the other day on our podcast, and we were talking about our church background or something like that. I go, and then the guest, he's like, what church do you go to? I was like, well, I'm not saying it on here.
Right.
I'm not saying what church I go to, because you would hope that your friendships are like, whenever I've done something meaningful in my personal life or in my career, it's the people that like that knew me from before I was popular.
Right.
And then the people that knew me from before I was popular, so they're like, dude, if you said you're quitting stand-up and you're going to work at Lowe's, I don't know, no disrespect to people that work at Lowe's, but they'll be like, well, you're still cool with us.
Right.
We always had I knew you thought I was cool before I did this.
Right.
It's like people from my high school or from my middle school teachers or youth pastors, when I come out to the show, I was like, Dad, would love to see you. Because those people were my friends from prior. Because you get sometimes like all celebrities hang out with like other celebrities. I think that's true of every genre of people.
That's right.
Because you don't want somebody that is like improperly leveraged in the friendship. You know what I'm saying? Well, one person could gain a ton from the other person, and the other person really has it creates a little bit of a imbalance.
Right. Do you find
I don't know if there's a group for that.
Right. That's right. So of your friends that are in comedy or certainly in the craft, what's the benefit of that?
Oh man, especially if you got the Tonight Show, and the Tonight Show like a month ago, those guys know what that means. You know, they know. They're like sometimes I would guess you're like, so is it what channel is that on? You're like, all right, like for us, I bet everybody's profession is probably the same.
Right.
Or I got the.
Did you call any of them and say, hey, any tips?
Oh, and no, dude, I'm a little too cocky for that to ask my comedian buddies for tips. No,
not on being funny. I mean, like,
on how to do it.
Experience.
Oh, let me think. I would probably do it without being so obvious.
Right.
Yeah. We all got a little bit of ego. I would call another comedian ask for tips.
Well, and again, I said tips. I don't mean like because you have your craft. I'm saying like in that situation. If I had a friend who had been on it, I'd go, "Hey, give me the vibe."
Yeah, I did do that. I did do that. Yeah,
you know, I want to win with Jimmy.
Yeah,
give me you've been there before me.
Yeah,
did you do that?
Oh yeah, Dusty Slay, actually, one of my good buddies. He said, so you got to go up to New York City the night before and run the set like 5 times at the Comedy Cellar.
Oh, nice.
Comedy Cellar is like the prestigious club, and so the booker meets you there.
Yeah,
you do any kind of last minute changes, you do it about 4 or 5 times.
Okay.
And he said the worst part about doing the Tonight Show is bombing on Sunday night at the Comedy Cellar. And I bombed 4 times the set.
Really?
I'm telling you, it bombed so hard.
Why do you think that happened?
But the booker was there. He's like, this is perfect. It's going to work perfect.
Really?
Yeah, it's going to work perfect for television. It's a bombing in here. Because the comics before you be like, dude, you ever like date a girl from Queens when you live in Astoria? And it was just killing.
Gotcha.
And I go, I just got added to my girlfriend's family group chat. And they're like, what?
Right.
You can't introduce yourself. You just got to go straight into and it's very...
I see.
But he was like, that would have thrown me off.
Did it help you when he said...
A ton. He goes, all my greatest sets on the Tonight Show bombed.
And sure enough, and I saw it, you did crush. I mean...
They're really working on like intricacies of like... I had a joke about... I had a joke about why Shakira was on my algorithm on my phone. Well, it was like, my girlfriend was like, why is Shakira on your... I was like, I don't know, babe. I was like... I was at a Mexican restaurant. Maybe it heard them say "hola," right. And then I had a joke. I don't know why she did. And then the joke after I was like, "Well, Shakira's from Colombia. I ordered some Colombian coffee, so maybe Google."
Makes sense.
Anyway, so those are the 2 jokes.
Right.
And then the Colombian coffee joke bombed so hard.
Wow.
I took it out for the next set, and the booker comes up to me, and goes, what happened to the Colombian joke? I go, I took it out, it's bombing. He goes, you have to keep that in. Because he said, without it, that seems very racist. Because I'm just saying, I think Shakira's from Colombia.
Got it.
And now I'm saying, I know she's from Colombia. Without it, I just say, I was in a Mexican restaurant. Right. She's not Mexican. And then it would just, like I thought about saying, I was at a Latino restaurant.
Right.
No one says that.
Yes, that's right.
So it's like if without so he comes up, he's very commercial, and he's like, we're on television, that you can't.
Yeah.
And I go, I did not think about that.
Wow.
And I left it in.
Wow. Great lesson there, I think, just to pull this out real quick for our audience.
Yeah.
You got to trust people who've been doing it. You know what I mean? Because it's a different context. You know it works. In front of a live
in the
audience.
club at Zany's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this
it
booker,
worked 50 times out of 50.
Wow.
And then it didn't work. And
Even then, after the booker told you this is going to work, was there a little self-doubt right before showtime?
Dude, yeah. He's like, this is perfect. This is perfect. And I knew I had a confidence in it. But I think a lot of people, I mean, I'm going down to the club tonight to run some new material.
Right.
In the car, on the way, you're like, oh, dude, look at these are all good. And then it's packed.
Right.
And they're about to introduce you. All of a sudden, you look at it and you go, nah, I'm just going to do the hits.
Right.
The hits meaning like the ones you got.
Right.
Yeah, it's too scary.
Have you ever Googled yourself and seen way more than you expected? Your name, your address, even your kids' names are just sitting there for any creep on the internet to find. That's not just scary, it's dangerous. Last year alone, over 1,800 data breaches exposed billions of personal records. And once that info is out there, scammers, spammers, and thieves can buy and sell it through hundreds of data broker sites. That's why I recommend Delete Me. They're the industry leader in removing your personal information from those data broker sites and keeping it gone. You get regular reports showing exactly what they've removed and from where. And if you spot something they missed, subscribers can send a custom removal request for their privacy experts to handle. The internet can be a scary place, but you can lock your info down before it becomes a real-life horror story. Go to joindeleteme.com/frontrowseat today for 20% off an annual plan. That comes out to just $9 a month. That's joindeleteme.com/frontrowseat. How do you? What's your John Crist version of powering through that imposter syndrome or doubt that everybody who's trying to do anything on purpose is going to face? How do you power through it?
I mean, I think well, I know that there's comics that are much larger than me that also feel it.
Sure.
So you're like, all right, I was like, all right, if he doesn't think he's arrived, people would look at me like that. They were like, he doesn't think he's
Yeah.
whatever credits we have or whatever. You're like, oh, that guy surely, they would think that about you.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, we need your next book. And you're like, I don't.
Right. Yeah, good, man. That's hard.
But you've written.
Yeah, 4.
Yeah. You're
Right.
like, well, everybody that hasn't written one, they were like, well, this guy knows. And you're
Right.
like, well,
Right.
I think so.
Yeah.
Perfect example at the Comedy Cellar. I had a greater purpose down there. If I wasn't on the Tonight Show and it was bombing, I would be like, but I go, this is okay to fail, because I know he's saying it's good and I'm doing the Tonight Show tomorrow.
Right.
If I wasn't doing the Tonight Show tomorrow, like I can go to the comedy club tonight, there's 15 comics that are going to be on the show. I could now bomb for 10 minutes because I'm going out
Right.
to 4 theaters this weekend and I need new material out there. I could sacrifice being a star here
Right.
because I got so if you run a business, you're like, hey, we had 6 advertising ideas. These 5 bombed. This one got us on the
Right.
New York Times bestseller. You're like, well, I'm okay with
Yeah. It makes
I'm
me
okay with that.
I love that because it makes me wonder, in your experience, John, how often does a slight tweak, and I don't know what that is, but a slight tweak in a joke take it from bombing to it hits?
All the time, everyone.
So it's something, it doesn't have to be a major thing. All right, we're going to go to an audience question. All right, let's go right here.
Yeah, John, I was wondering, you talked about developing your jokes in clubs. Do you ever take a step before that and test them on your girlfriend, your parents, and do they ever roll their eyes? Because I get that sometimes.
Oh yeah, testing the joke. I only say this because I've joked with my girlfriend about this a ton. I go, she's gonna laugh when she sees this. I go, you're just not fertile ground.
Right.
I have a joke that it's a sketch coming out next week. It's called The Rug Dealer.
Okay.
So it's like, have you ever watched a TikTok where they clean those rugs?
Yeah.
So everybody's nodding their heads. They all seen these videos. So I'm like a farmer. I bury these rugs, and then people come and they're like, "Dude, we need TikTok views, and I got a rug for you." This is possibly the dumbest idea I've ever had. And we all got in wardrobe and went out there, and I was like, "Dude, I know these guys will be back," and they're like, kind of like, "Dude, I need one of these rugs." It's so stupid.
Right.
My girlfriend, who now fiance, who works in the news. And
Right.
she, like, I got to show her that when it's done.
Right. Yeah.
Because creativity, I feel like, is visits you so delicately. I feel like all creativity visits so delicately. And you're like, hey, we want to do an advertising campaign for the new book with Jake Paul.
Okay.
You have that idea. No, it's not going to do that. Too much budget. We don't know him.
Right.
He's a little bit of a loose cannon. That's not going to. All those things are trying to shut it down. Any kind of joke. Oh, it'd be funny. No, it's going to be stupid. And then if it gets past 15 barriers already, I'll write it in my phone. Oh, that might be a good idea. If it gets to there, then once a week on Monday, I take everything from my phone and I put it into a Word document. If it gets to there, I'll look at everything. I might write it out. I might take it to the stage. If it gets to the stage on Monday or Tuesday night at Zany's, it might make it to the weekend. If it starts working on the weekend, it might last to whatever the Netflix special, whatever the next special is. So there's so many chopping blocks along there.
that.
And if something comes, like, it's so, the idea, again, it's so stupid. The idea of the rug, I watch all these rug videos. I'm like,
Right.
they're so dirty. I'm like, why don't they clean them before
Right.
they bring them? They're full of, you know what I'm telling you? You think it's funny.
Yes. Well, it's funny because the way you're looking at it.
Even this reaction tells me
Yes.
it might not go viral, but people know what that is.
Yes.
They've seen. So you go, because if Lydia had never seen a rug cleaning video, she'd go, what?
Right.
And that, if it's like a seed, if it hasn't grown any kind of roots yet, so one, that's dumb, it's gone.
Right.
It's gone. And so like, I like Bruce Springsteen used to say with Born in the USA, you get tired of playing that song 1,000 times. He goes, this is the most precious
Yes.
gift
Yeah.
that I've ever been in possession of. I bring it out
Yeah.
and I show it to people
Yeah.
for 4 minutes, and then
Yeah. So good. Great.
it's such a like,
Yeah.
you have an idea, and I'm making it way too serious, which I think this question is. but-
Actually, I want to jump in because your role in here. I think this is a great entrepreneurial lesson. There are people watching and listening to this that want to start a business.
Yep.
And I think what you just described, at some point, there's a gut feeling.
Yep.
Call it an idea, but you actually think the idea's got something. But what I loved is you kept describing the testing of the original, but your gut is what you're operating off of.
Yeah.
You really
and,
believe.
yeah, and
that
go-
comes with experience.
Yeah. And doing it, I mean, you're like, I don't.
But how much
okay.
of it is like if John Crist thinks it's funny, there are enough people in this world who have your sense of humor and they will think it's funny.
You'd be fine.
There's an entrepreneurial lesson
Yeah.
there too about a business and having some conviction. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they go. I don't think if I'm going to start I want to start an ice cream stand. Dude, we got 5 groceries within 2 miles from here. This place sells ice cream.
Right.
It's only seasonally. It's only going to last. And then you go, all right. It doesn't even make it out of here.
Right.
So we're like, and there's so many. They're like, all right, well maybe, like living in the when the creativity does visit, pull over to the side of the road. Right. If you are lucky enough for it to visit you, I don't even know why. And we're talking about my buddy. We're talking about the guy that rugs, and he goes, rug dealer. I go, oh my God, that's so good. Like drug dealer, he's like and then you go, and I'll say I have limited investment. Well, not really, but I have camera guy, script, outfits. We went to Home Depot, bought all these props, and then I'm gonna edit for another.
I mean, that's a lot of time.
It is a significant investment,
And time is huge for you.
yeah. And if think of the alternative. I'm sitting on this. I can't get to the next one until I exercise this one.
That's a good point. You got to play it out.
Now, I've been doing it for 15 years, but hoping you think it's funny versus this is funny to me. Any young comic, I go, write what you think is funny.
That's a masterclass right there. Same thing with writing a book. writing a
What
song.
yeah.
Yeah, if you want to be creative in any way, and I also think entrepreneurs, if it's a solid idea, you got to cross that bridge first. But then you got to do something that you believe in. That's half the battle.
I get talked out of things I said on the podcast, and I like retract them in like an afternoon. Not really, but you're like, think about the guys that were so committed to their positions that they were only honored after death.
Yeah.
That they were like, no, dude, I promise you. And everybody's like, I don't think so. You're like, dude, I swear that we can reach the West Indies if we take off in this boat, or if I promise you, even people of faith, they would go, no shot. That's crazy that you would say that. And he goes, I will take this. I'm so committed to this idea. I will take it all the way to my death.
Oh, I love that. So good. All right, we got another question. All right, let's go right here.
Being a business owner, you got a lot of people that watch this as owners. You got a lot of people in the room. When you talk about situations like the bus needs to get fixed, you lose your Instagram account, you have staff, you have this monotony. Do you look to find humor in those moments, or do you just kind of drive right past it and that was just a blip?
I mean, humor would be how I cope with everything. Right. Now, you have to find the correct. I feel like. The correct, like I get so frustrated with a lot of comedians. Currently, there's a lot of like infighting amongst comedians. This is how you should do it. I hate that publicly. People are naming other people's names. This comic is a fraud. I have two buddies, comics, that I send those clips to, and I go, look at this. It's not for the public. Because I feel like that hurts. It's probably not for your employees, or it's not for maybe it's not for coworkers, but you can go home and tell your wife, hey, this guy in our office with bringing the salmon that's opening up with, or whatever it is. You're like, this is crazy. And she goes, yeah, that's crazy. You go, okay, thank you. Like, I feel like in the, all of comedy, you're sitting in the airplane and somebody walks in, talking on speakerphone. You go, and you looking around to see if someone else is like, and you go, okay, I feel better. Yeah. So you're like, you obviously, if this bus it's insane that the bus keeps breaking down. It's probably not appropriate a conversation to have on the bus amongst with the bus driver or with the bus, but you can laugh with your tour mate. There has to be some level of coping with that, for example, is not something that would be entertaining for our podcast. They go, we want to hear about Taylor Swift, or it hurts business by taking those real points of anger into, like, sometimes when I miss on my videos, it is when they go, this guy seems like he's actually pissed about this. And it doesn't come across like I need to exercise my anger maybe with the therapist, or maybe just by talking it through before I bring it. Humor is always how I've coped with everything. So I'm like, Arby's waitresses be like, I was like, I think he had a very angry, like, I think he's
still pissed at that.
And you can watch, if you watch back through all of my 10 plus years of content, you'll be like, the ones that miss are there's too much anger in them, or there's too much, he's dead serious. He hasn't, versus the ones that, like, I'm make an example of, like, I used to do a bunch of jokes about essential oils. I think it's pretty stupid.
Right.
But I don't have any real...
There's no conviction.
I have no real skin in that game.
Yeah.
I remember lady came to me, she goes, I have $5,000 worth of essential oils and I threw them all away because of your joke. I go, if you love them... I'm just talking, or I'm just
a joke.
I'm
lady.
just BSing. I do think it's silly, but if you're like, it's healed me from what, just keep doing it.
Right.
Like, I didn't really have any.
Right.
I will defend that joke because I do think it's silly. That being said, if you're like, I disagree, that's fine. And the best comics can like maybe like illuminate something to you, and you'd be like, well, in a way that you're like, dude, if you're
it can absolutely change your mind. I mean,
But watch comedy. You're like, oh, It just, you leave a little bit feeling a little bit heavy because the comic has maybe put his burdens on you versus I remember watching a Tim Hawkins show. It was one of my favorite comics. He was sitting there and he was talking about a CPAP machine, about how doesn't that really kill romance in the bedroom? He's sitting on center like Darth Vader. And dude, I saw a couple just like dying, dude. And you can tell that they have had issues in the bedroom related to the embarrassment or maybe whatever that is. And he said it to them in a way that they were, it makes me cry a little bit, like chains were like coming off of them. Ooh. And you're like, versus sometimes you go to a comedy show and the comic is struggling mentally or dealing with something and you're like, I feel heavier. I think Nate Bargatze is one of the best at that. All the relationship issues, he lifts that off of you.
That's exactly
so I think in business, especially if you're the leader, the CEO, and you're like, man, if let's say the tariffs or whatever has hurt your business. If you are complaining about the tariffs every day, people that are following you are like, dude, I don't know if this guy I don't have the confidence in this guy to take this business where it needs to go. Versus if you talk with your small team and you're like, we're going to get a plan together, and then you have communicated to the team what we're going to do about the tariffs, and then you make a joke about the tariffs, like, oh.
Yeah, that's right.
It just sits different versus I feel like as the leader, I think it's my responsibility.
That's a fabulous point.
That
is a great leadership lesson.
Well, mine is, you can watch all mine. Yeah. I'm not.
Yeah, you're not heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, we'll see when the rug dealer comes out.
That is true. We're going to hold our breath on that one.
I'm not checking any DI. One time I made a video. I wanted to make this video called Millennial Missionaries. This is probably 10 years ago. I wanted to be like, hey, we need $10,000 a month. We're gonna minister to the jet ski rental place in Aruba.
Right.
We're gonna move there.
Right.
And we need we're gonna just wear WWJD bracelets everywhere. And it's like, because I there's a lot of missionaries that I felt were like kind of taking advantage of the system. Right. They were like, we're gonna witness to like the wine owners, the vineyard owners in Tuscany. And you're like, sounds sweet. Yeah.
Right.
And I go, I want to make this video. And Aaron Tuning we were making videos together at the time. He goes, I'm going to get crushed for this. I'm going to get crushed for this video. Because all the people that are sincere ministers, they're like, this hurts us. Now we can't raise funding anymore because people are now quit. I'm going to get crushed for this. But I do believe in that video. He goes, well, why don't we just agree right now that just make it and we'll never look. We'll never look at any one comment from it. And I go, deal. And we made it. And you could go back, it's probably 8 years old. And I've never once looked at a comment from it.
Interesting.
And it's one of my proudest pieces of content.
Okay. Hey, it is hard to be your best when you're tired. It's true. Bad sleep affects your performance. Some eggheads from MIT and UC Berkeley found that when people lost just 1 hour of sleep per night, it led to a 9% drop in performance. That's 9% fewer deals closed, fewer widgets made, fewer invoices processed. And that's why I love my avocado green mattress. I sleep great on it, so my brain is not running on fumes. Avocado mattresses are made with certified organic materials. No chemical junk, no petroleum-based foam. Just natural latex, wool, and cotton that help you sleep cooler, deeper, and healthier. And you're not sacrificing comfort either, because Avocado's mattresses are supportive and comfortable. Just take a quick quiz on their site to find the right fit for your sleep style, firm, medium, or plush. Don't settle for a brain stuck in airplane mode. Upgrade your sleep and your performance and head to avocadogreenmattress.com/Ken today, where you can take an extra $50 off the sale price with the code KEN50. That's avocadogreenmattress.com/Ken, code KEN50. Avocado, dream of better. All right, so we got one more audience question. All right.
I didn't even know it was the person back there.
Yeah, there you go.
John, I'm curious, how do you think that laughter has changed in the last 10 years in terms of what people used to laugh at and now would not laugh at anymore?
Ooh, good question.
Very good question.
I mean, yeah, if we knew, yeah, we'd have all
I'm
that
already
salt.
thinking of movies like Blazing Saddles, which
Oh, yeah.
could you even make that film today, or have we swung back to where you can?
Okay, so with what's happened when I make a video, you go, all right, if this line, I think let's say you have a 90-second joke and you go, all right, you got 20, 25 punchlines in there. You go, all right, if I put this in, is this gonna hurt the shareability of it? So it's in essence sharing, reposting something for your page to everybody versus I'm gonna have to text one by one because these people might be humor is always just truth before you're ready to hear it. And if it's everybody is like too soon, you're like we'll get there, but it was too soon for that joke. And then you see a joke about COVID now, they'd be like too late. Like, you ever seen somebody driving in their car alone with a mask on? You're like, dude, the 4-month window for that joke was just top tier.
Right.
If you did it before that, you're like, dude, people are dying.
Right.
If you did it after that, you're like, still talking about COVID?
Right.
So it's like, I think with the internet, what the internet has done is it's just sped up the whole process of how you consume jokes. We even go to like, if I did a comedy show here, you guys all know each other. You guys aren't employees, but all the employees, you guys all know each other and you're employed here. So if there's a joke I did Chick-fil-A's corporate like 2 months ago, and I was like, hey, I know you're not going to laugh at these jokes because your boss is right there. And this joke is a little edgy about whatever topic. You don't want to get fired. If you go into my comedy show in Wichita, none of these people know each other. It's dark. They're like, we love this guy. We don't know who this is. This is unbelievable. So there's a lot of, on the consumer side of comedy, there's a lot of people there's a NASCAR driver that got fired for laughing at a joke. So he thought the joke was wildly inappropriate, but he has all those advertisers and they're like, dude,
Yeah.
we can't,
Yeah.
you can't laugh at this. Now, unfortunately, what that's done to comedy, which I believe has made it great. So post-COVID, post everything going on politically, look at Hollywood. There's no comedy anymore. There's no, since the Hangover, it was probably like some could argue the other guys, there's the last great comedy.
Yeah.
No one's taking any risk to make jokes because they don't want to get fired, because everybody can get fired for comedy, which has made comedy 10x in terms of like Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn, Shane Gillis, guys that are like, we can't get fired from anything.
That's right.
So who are you going to cancel him from?
Yeah.
Now, Jimmy Fallon can get fired. Jimmy Fallon can get canceled from NBC. We can't. So everybody has these, look at Pat McAfee with ESPN. He's like, I'm doing my own thing. I don't care what y'all say. And now all the studios have come back to those guys that are saying wild things because they're like, look at everybody that SNL is now hiring. It's all the guys that have their own platforms.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, everybody's sharing these things like it's underground.
Yeah.
If somebody has a wild bit about politics or race or COVID at the time or something, they go, dude, this is, and you'll notice on Instagram has 585,000 shares and like 100 comments.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, it's like almost kind of like Trump. And you're like, dude, no, you won't hear it. Now, Tennessee's a little different, but you're like, nobody's, at least in 2016,
That's right.
I lived in LA. They were like, no, I see no sign. And I would go all across this country and the podcasts that are the biggest. They were like, nobody will say they listen to these things.
That's right.
But they're number one.
Yeah. I think that's why polls are wildly inaccurate. If you think about the last couple of major
They're
elections,
not saying it.
nobody wants to even say it to a stranger on the other end of a phone. I think you're right on.
But those guys that are like, say, like you, whatever side you're on, you were like, these guys, the only reason why the millennial missionaries worked, and it was one of my biggest videos and still is, because everybody has thought that.
Yes.
Everybody thought that, and if it like
Right. You're asking me to donate to you living in Aruba,
and you're
I'm
looking
in
here like for
Red
spring
Dirt,
break,
Idaho.
yeah,
What
and you're
are
like
we
for
doing?
spring break, we're going down to 30A, and we're gonna prayer walk along the beach, and then minister to the lifeguards, and you're like now it's probably not politically correct to make fun of this,
Right.
so the comic has to every time I press upload, you're in essence mortgaging your whole career.
That's right.
Now, not with some of the less innocuous videos, but so you're like, gosh, dude, are you want to do it again, and you got to do it
Yeah.
3 times a week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
which
it.
we live for. We're not scared of it, or we don't. Yeah, we
Right.
kind of wish for a little bit of controversy.
That's
So-
true.
But we're
Yeah.
mentally ill.
A little bit of pressure is fun. Okay, I'm excited to ask you about this.
That's a good question.
Some fun data.
Let's hear it.
98% of executive leaders prefer employees with a sense of humor.
Mm.
84% of executives believe employees with a sense of humor do better work.
Mm-hmm.
This is fascinating to me.
Interesting.
So, with that being the setup here, is there a difference in your mind between being funny and having a sense of humor? Because I'm trying to think of a broader audience. Okay, break that down, because I wanted to know what you think about it. And for someone who knows, they're self-aware enough to know, I'm not funny, but I think I have a decent sense of humor.
A good sense of humor.
This is an opportunity to win at work. This may be crazy skewed, but you might as well play into this. So what would you say to somebody if they came to you and they said, all right, John, I could admit that I'm not funny. I'm not comedian funny. I'm not an acting kind of funny, but I think I have a decent sense of humor, but how can I develop a sense? So is a sense of humor something that we can all develop to take advantage of this? Feels like this is a bias in the workplace.
Yeah. I would say I got a friend of mine that is never like told a joke, but a great sense of humor. I think my fiance has a great sense of humor, like knows when jokes are happening. So you go like, I'm trying to think of like if I have a good buddy, or like we're playing golf together. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good shot. It's in the woods. He's like, oh, humor, like, or like he's like, or like jokes are like the idea that jokes are happening. Like if you go to a reception, like my fiance gets mad at me all the time because every time in public, you know, a hostess, a waitress, you're just like doing humor. You're always saying jokes, and she's like, hey. Not now. Like, this is not the place for that. And I'll be like, oh, yeah, like, I'm trying to think of it. Like, oh, no, we'll, do you want any, bad example, but your Texas Roadhouse, do you guys want any hot rolls? No, we don't want them. You're like, oh, you do want them, but you're saying, you're like, obviously everyone comes here for this. And to be like, she goes, oh, okay, then I won't bring you any. And then she brings you, like, oh, okay, so we... I think it's just a sign of intelligence in some way that you're like, oh, he's not being sincere. You show up.
So it's not always that you're saying something quippy here, but if you're just able to pick up and actually laugh at something when an executive says it. I mean, there's a couple ways here to show this sense of humor.
Yeah, if you show up to the gym wearing a workout outfit, someone's like, what are you here for? You're like, I'm here to check on the printer. You're like,
yeah, it doesn't have to be hilarious.
Yeah, I'm obviously here for, and I think the people that can contribute to the humor are like the ones that you're like they call it a personality hire. Right. You're like, all right, this is. I think there is a role for comedy started for the role of like a court jester.
Yeah.
So the king would be like, look at this amazing land we have. Everybody's prospering. We're the best. And then the court jester had 5 minutes at the end to be like, everybody's prospering. Look at the people over it. To kind of keep the whole thing honest. Yeah. Because if it wasn't for him, those conversations are happening at the office, by the way. Yeah. Making fun of the policies, the lunch break. We only get 45 minutes and the Taco Bell is 15. Whatever, those things are being said.
Right.
So if you, I'm not going to tell everybody, dude, if you're like an underling, just go roast your boss, and everybody gets fired, and they're like, Ken, what happened? I'm like, sorry about that.
We'll blame it on you.
But the idea of being aware, I don't think you don't have to be a comedian.
No,
you just have to be like a little bit of perceptive
Because
the
that
jokes
does. I'm
are-
thinking of the workplace, John. That helps you with icebreaker if you're the new guy or you got a client in and it's kind of that weird tension.
Yeah.
How about like tense meetings?
Oh,
When,
yeah.
Like everybody's like, I would like to crawl under the table. If
Yeah.
there's something you observe that's funny, that could really let the air out of the balloon in a good way.
I don't know what we're telling people here because somebody's going to get fired for listening.
I don't
to
think
this.
so.
They're going to come back.
I don't think so. I feel good.
Dude,
Like as long
yeah.
as it's not
Start small.
offensive.
Start small.
Yes.
You start small. Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if I envision like a really tense meeting.
Yeah.
And there's this awkward moment. You know, I think it's okay to actually call that
I do too.
out.
Yeah, obviously I do.
That's funny.
You know, on my first comedy special, one of my best jokes always goes, I was dating this girl or something like, she asked me if I followed the Dave Ramsey plan. And I go, yeah, I put all my credit cards in different envelopes.
That's good.
It was like, it's like,
That's
it's just dumb. It's
Dave
yeah.
would laugh hard at that.
I think he would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know he would.
I used to
'cause
say,
that's-
it did,
it's
yeah.
the absurdity of that statement, which is what makes it funny.
I tell this story at my show sometimes at the end. Mark Lowry, he goes, okay, and because I sometimes like, you know, people get mad at you online. They're offended by this joke. It was not the right time. This is out of taste. He goes, the best joke I ever told was in the highest stakes of all time. He goes, I was in the hospital when my mother passed away. It was me and my dad.
Yeah.
It was in the hospital. And right before she died, she goes, this is a true story. I think I see lights. And she passed away. And you know how like right before death, sometimes you have that moment of like clarity. And she goes, I think it's true. I think I see lights. And she passed away. And they were in the hospital. It was very sad. The family was there. You know, his dad was there. You know, they spent a couple minutes there kind of, and then they were driving. It was him and his dad driving home. And they had we're both sitting in the car together. No one had said a word. His dad obviously was, you know, she had battled cancer for forever. And his dad finally broke the silence and goes, I can't believe Mom right before she died. She goes, I think I see lights. Mark Lowry looked at his dad. He goes, you think it was flames? Which is just...
That is so
that's
wild.
such a risk.
It is.
It's such a risk.
It really is.
That is such a risk to tell
Right.
that joke.
Yeah.
But he goes, he had not seen his dad smile in a year. And he started dying laughing.
Oh, yeah.
He started dying laughing
Right.
because it like he had been dealing with his wife.
Yeah.
It's getting worse and worse and the sickness and it was so,
Yes.
I'm not obviously recommending anybody go that far,
Right.
but he was like, he calculated
Yes. Yeah.
the ROI on
Yes.
that. This is the best joke he ever
But the
told.
magic to that is
If
as
it
a
hits.
student.
If it hits.
If it hits. But the magic to that risk is I actually know Bev because I went to Liberty University.
Yeah.
So Bev ain't in hell.
Yeah. That's
So, like,
he had more context there. Great
There's
point.
so much
Great
more.
point.
Like his dad, like he knows
He
this is risky, but dad knows there's no chance that mom's in hell.
and he kind of
So that's-
it's less of a risk than it appeared.
because of
He
the-
knew his wife's relationship with he knew his
Yeah.
dad's sense of humor.
Right.
He had enough there
Right.
to go,
right.
I'm going to send it.
Which is right. Which is why your Ramsey joke about the credit cards and the envelopes is so funny
Yeah.
because of the absurdity of it.
Yeah.
Again, everybody knows you're on the inside because of the envelope.
Yeah. He
I
knows
just
that I
put my
know.
credit card-
I wouldn't know that if I hadn't followed,
Yeah.
if I hadn't read the book.
That's magical.
And it's not it's like it doesn't come across as like I love Dave. And Dave is a friend of mine. And you were
Right.
like, you can tell.
Of course.
But that joke, if anyone else would have said that about his wife that just died of cancer, he would obviously
it's
he would
insanity.
fight someone for saying
Insanity.
that. So it's always this like
Yeah. Like
You're
if you're the
sitting-
family friend in the back seat, you can't say
it's
that.
insane. And I would fight that guy. And as a comedian, I was like, dude, that's out of line. They cannot say that.
Right.
But you did,
Yeah.
and we all.
I love
when
that.
comedians. I always find myself defending comedians
Right.
because for a joke, I go, well, guys, you can't ask this guy to bat 1,000.
Right.
When you pay him
Yeah.
to go forward. So he says, oh, yes, do it. And then he goes too far and you're like, no.
Yeah.
You're like, what? Well, that in 2020, 2021, when everybody's YouTube was getting taken down, when they're getting demonetized, deplatformed, it grew comedy even bigger because it was like, if you can't what do you want the guy to do?
Yeah. I'm asking this question for your fans, and I'm asking this question for people that are watching and listening right now that are dealing with some type of shame. I don't care what it is. Could be professional shame, personal shame. I don't care. One of the things that my faith has shaped in me, John, that I'm just a sucker for, I can get choked up in a second, watching great restoration stories. The Bible's full of them. One of the things I most admire about you is that you face some of that on your own. You've been open about it.
Yeah.
We don't need to revisit that. Your fans know your story. But what I do want to ask you is...
It's page 3 now, but
that's right.
Still, it used to be page 1.
I know.
Yeah.
But I love that I read this, that your first show after you come out of rehab sold out in 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I use that as context to ask you, what did that mean to you coming out on the other side and walking out of... Some people would stay in a cave of shame forever or come out but never be truly authentic with it. And I just admire you. I think if we read biographies of great women and men and we celebrate the great things they did, but when we read the biographies, all of them had a lot of major failures or overcame something. Mm-hmm. What did that moment mean to you, and how has it carried you forward? Because you're winning. You're winning personally, you're winning professionally.
I mean, I remember where I go. I was in this place called the Meadows, the rehab center in Phoenix, and I was like there for 10 days, and it was horrific. And I thought I was never going to be a comedian again. I was obviously very, very sad.
Sure.
And it was like, if I would have like. I mean, I'm an adult, and I could leave whenever I wanted. Mm-hmm. It's not prison. And I go, I want to. If I quote dishonorably discharge from, if I leave, I'm gonna go start drinking again. If I leave here, I'm done. Mm. I knew where that road was going. I knew where that road. It's just gone deeper. It's gone deeper and more. And I was literally laying on the bed, and I go, I say now, they're like, dude, y'all should have killed me when I was you were one nail away from putting that coffin to ending it. And most of the choices were my own. A lot of times you're like, I made all those choices to get myself there. So, and I remember looking, I was talking to maybe a therapist or maybe a business manager or something like that, and they were like, look, almost had like a vision. I don't know if he said it to me or I imagined it, or I want to say it'd be cool to say God showed me this, but I'm not positive that. Right. Because a lot of people are like, God, you're like, are we sure? The idea of looking out over this like valley, and there's like just an incredible amount of carnage down there. And you go, all right, I think my business manager was like, we could shut all the social media accounts down. We can delete everything, and you can go get a job at wherever, go work in sales, or go work for my brother builds homes, or you could do, if you want to go down this road, it is going to be horrific. And it's going to be, there's some uncomfortable conversations you're going to have to, and I still don't shake this today, by the way. It's 6 years later, still people say things about me
I'm sure.
on the internet, but again, product of my own choices, so I'm not here to blame anybody. But if you would like to go down this road, I feel like, and God was like, I'll go with you. It's not going to be, I mean, dude, it's like my Eleanor, who works with us, she was working with us in 2019, and we when we decided to come back, we updated our we were gonna post some videos, but we weren't ready yet. We just put a new profile picture up. We were sitting at the counter, we put a new profile picture up, and dude, everybody was like, oh my God, he's back, dude. And it was just like, all these comments. It makes me emotional every time I tell the story. You're like, I thought, okay, so anybody dealing with like shame, you go, all right, all these people are saying all these horrific things about me, but I also sold out. Which one of these is true? They can't both be true.
That's right.
So either I am this guy or I am this guy. And these people don't know me, have never opened their wallet to pull out a credit card to support me ever. And these people are saying, hey, I put the 16 digits into my computer to buy a ticket because they
like you.
Yeah, even if they were like, even if all these things about him are true, or that they were like, I am, or everybody's saying, so you're like, all right, I think you're just gonna have to choose which voice to listen to. And I don't even like saying that here's how to do it, because I choose to listen to the voices of darkness all the time. In fact, when I went to like a step-down facility in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. After I went to 45 days in rehab, I went to this other place, and you had your phone back in your car, and you had your computer, and they would kind of just, it was like it's what's called a step-down. It's like, hey, you can't drink, we're going to drug test you, but we're just going to make sure that your sobriety is kind of solidified before we send you back out. And I remember, I've told this story before, all these were addicts, and they're all in for different things: drugs, alcohol, gambling, sex, whatever. And we were sitting there, and all day they would be like, you're a good man, John. He's like, you're a good man, and you're worthy of love, and we're proud of you for taking ownership of your life, and your family loves you. And I was so uncomfortable with that. Every night I would leave and go on Twitter to find people saying bad things about me.
To validate it.
Yeah, because I didn't believe that those people were like, you're a good man. Or like, that can't be that. And I think it was building in me way before any of this stuff happened to me publicly. But you're not worthy, you're not lovable, you don't matter, all those things. I had that way before I was a comedian.
Do you know where that came from?
I mean,
have you tracked it?
Yeah, endlessly. Yeah. But I think it's part of growing up in a family. I was one of 8 kids, and I think just based on it was hard to compete for attention in a house like that, and I think I developed ways of humor to kind of cope with it. But I remember my parents were like, I mean, I disgraced my family name. I mean, my dad have the same name, and now when you look up his name and you find the poor choices that I've made. It was like, to bring that shame to my family was like, and then they were like, then they were like, we're going to come see you. And you're like, what?
Crazy. Yeah.
What? And they were like, we love you and we'll sit with you for and he was like,
when your
that's
dad
crazy.
When your dad first saw you, what was that like?
Dude, I was like, at first, when you first go into rehab, there's like 14 days. It's called like a dark period. You can't hear from anybody. Right. They just want to make sure that you're not going to kill yourself.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get outside information you call your wife and she's like, the house is foreclosed. You get information based on the poor choices you made that might unsettle your healing process. So they just try to kind of ground you a little bit. And that's how I felt. I can't believe I shamed my family ever. It was on the USA Today. Every publication was like, I was for poor choices that I made in my personal life, which is wild. And I remember after 14 days, you would walk into the little, I wrote about this, the little lobby there or whatever. And after 14 days, they had there's like a little, when you call someone's office and they're out there, they leave a voicemail and they bring it to you. They're like, back in the day, they would do this. They go, my name was up on the board, John C. They don't say your last name for confidential. My name's on the board, and that means you got a message. And I went to the front desk. I go, I said I have a message, and they gave me this thing. It's like, your parents are coming. Oh, and you were like, what? Wild. So then it's like, I mean, people say stuff about me now that I'm like, well, that's not.
Yeah.
I didn't know who I was at the time.
Yeah. So
I would believe if someone said this guy, I would. Sure. It was actually more, I would prefer to believe that
Right.
because at least I know that. It's like an abusive relationship. You're like, well, at least I know.
You're used to that coat.
It's horrible, but at least I know this. And now people say that. I'm like, dude, I confronted somebody.
I'm so happy about that.
The other day, I go, somebody DM, I don't really respond to it. Somebody DM'd me about something. I go, hey, I just want to let you know that's not true. And anything that you've heard about me that I've been responsible for and I've been accountable, and I just want to, you should look at your sources before you start talking like that about people. And you're like,
right. That's
that's a human being that I would not even recognize.
Exactly. Well, you are a good man, and you bring so much joy to people. And I love that all that pain, you still have so much joy. That's a great segue, folks. You know, at the end of every one of these conversations, I give you something that I've learned from our guests.
Oh, I was thinking we were going to do an every head bowed, every eye closed.
No, but it kind of felt that way.
Right. If you related to this, would you say?
I'm telling you,
just kidding.
as a pastor's kid,
too much. Sorry.
Dude, I can do an invitation and a baptism just like that.
Sorry.
So so much that I learned, but I will tell you, when John was talking about the story with Louis Anderson and a bit of his journey, this idea of doing work you love, we talk about this all the time, doing work that just gives you joy, whether anybody's watching you or not. The master craftsmen are the ones with the gnarled hands and torn up fingers, just trying to perfect a craft, and they love the craft. And John illustrated that so much. So I'm taking away from that I want to make sure that I'm constantly trusting my gut and the conviction behind what it is that I believe that I'm just meant to do. And so I hope you get something from that. And I challenge you to look at your work or your future through that lens. And if you did enjoy the conversation, we won't do an altar call, but I'd love for you to let us know by liking and subscribing.
No, dude, go like rug dealer.
That's right. We got a nice rug here. Maybe get it cleaned after this. And hey, if you'd love to join us in studio for a future live recording, check out the link in the show notes for up-to-date info on guest dates and opportunities. To my friends in the room, thank you all for coming. And would you join me in thanking John Crist for encouraging us and equipping us today?
Thanks, everybody.